So deep, there's no doubt in my mind he's very aware of
What you're about to
the
witness right
significance of
now
his
is the
putt.
greatest golfer of all
He's
time, winning his
convinced we're
first
about
major,
to.
the most coveted major in golf history, but he didn't just win. He won by 12 shots.
There it is, a win for the ages.
If you don't already know by now, this is Tiger Woods. He proceeded to win the tournament 4 more times in his career, and now he's the undisputed GOAT of golf. But how did this man gain such a legacy in a game that typically excludes non-whites? To understand how he beat the odds, we have to take a look into his childhood. Now hold that thought for later. This right here is Birdie, a fictional character from the book Caucasia. Birdie is a light-skinned, multiracial girl with a sister who is dark-skinned as they have a white mother and a black father. Despite sharing the same parents, Birdie's experiences differs tremendously from that of her sister Cole's because of their difference in skin tone. Which begs the question, what exactly do these two have in common?
I'm a combination. Caucasian, blue, black, Indian, Asian. Combination.
That's what you call yourself?
Yeah.
Do you see it now? Both Tiger and Birdie Lee are people that share the burden of being mixed race in America. I'll be attempting to understand this. How do the two illustrate the emotional and social complexities of a mixed race identity? And what do their stories reveal about assimilation in trying to maintain a sense of cultural authenticity? As you saw in the earlier clip, Tiger Woods coined the term "cablination" to describe himself: Caucasian, Black, Indian, and Asian. It was the way of holding onto all parts of who he was. But the public, they weren't buying it. The media labeled him as just a black golfer. And when he disagreed, they went mad.
It basically pissed me off. It made me think, wait a minute, you don't want to be a part of this race?
Tiger Woods said he's not a black golfer.
What a lot of people saw, here's one more effort by a young black man to avoid being black.
My wife is Asian, I'm black, and we argue about which half of Tiger Woods is hitting the ball so good.
Birdie, on the other hand, never got the chance to label herself everybody. Her mom made the call from the beginning. Sandy says, if anyone finds out the truth, you're gonna wish you were back here. You're gonna wish you were still Jesse Goldman. Birdie's mother tells Birdie to hide her blackness, pass as white, and to stay safe. In both stories, identity is something that is told to them. Their identity is controlled by an outside source, by fear, by parents, by the public eye, by everyone except the person living in the skin. Except Tiger was able to make it clear, and still received backlash after doing so. Now let's talk about code switching and whiteness. Every time Tiger stepped onto the course, he had to play more than golf. He had to code switch, smile, keep calm, stay marketable. Because he was in a white sport. White crowds, white money, white power. Tiger played with an unprecedented amount of pressure. Since he was a child, he held the burden of living up to expectations. He had to prove that he was a great golfer, maybe even the best. But he was also playing against a system of whiteness. So what if he messed up? Well,
Sir, will you please state your full name? Don Woods.
I was living a life of a lie. I really was. You start coming to the truth of who you really are.
Tiger Woods' woes are continuing. Gatorade is now dropping the golfer. PepsiCo, which owns the sports drink, says it no longer sees a role for Tiger in its marketing efforts.
when Tiger messed up, they were ready to pounce, and it made national headlines. Second chance was a miracle.
I brought this shame on myself.
Birdie, she learned code switching before she could even finish middle school. One day she was black, the next she was Jessie Goldman, a Jewish white girl. So much so that she says, I began to find comfort in hearing slurs. When others said, bleep, 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 I only looked away into the distance, sometimes a little laugh escaping. There was a safety in this pantomime. On the other hand, Birdie's fake life is a negotiation with her whiteness. She's allowed in as long as she doesn't say too much or show too much of where she comes from. She's only allowed when she plays the role of a white Jewish person. Lastly, Birdie and Tiger have one more thing in common. They're always an in-between. Tiger was not black enough for some, not Asian enough, or not white enough for others. He was celebrated, but never truly claimed. And Birdie feels that way too. And the longer she passes, the more distant she feels from her own black family. Being mixed doesn't always mean belonging to both sides. To wrap this up, watching the documentary America's Son appealed to me. Tiger was never involved with it. It was told through the voices of caddies, journalists, historians, and black golfers who lived through the barriers that Tiger shattered, and about what they thought of Tiger and what his story meant to others. In Caucasia, we're inside Birdie's head. We hear her stories and we feel her pain. In this way, we get to see both perspectives well. We see the internal perspective of Birdie through her voice, and then the external perspective in societal pressures that Birdie talks so vividly about through Tiger. Tiger Woods was a trailblazer, and certainly an icon for many. But he also shows us how we treat race in America, how we are so quick to label people before actually letting them be human. While Birdie's fictional, her pain is exceptionally real. She shows us what it feels like to disappear in plain sight, to survive only by being hidden. Their stories come from two very different places, but both ask us the same question. In America, what does it cost to belong, and who gets to decide, and what decides if you